Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Thanks so much and welcome back. Calling on the angels, sending in reinforcement for your life. You know, not so long ago, I was at the park with my daughter and I was watching this little 2-year-old boy just playing, and he was trying with all his might to reach up and grab the monkey bars, and he just kept going and going, and then finally in his frustration he looked over at his mother and he stretched out his hands, and she came in and just swooped him up and carried him bar by bar across those monkey bars, and he was just so proud, and you could hear him saying, look me, and that scene touched my heart, and it's really just serves as something of a metaphor for life and connecting with the guidance and power and the help that we all need every day. We have to send in the reinforcement, and how often, in my opinion, we need those reinforcements every second of every single day. I've sat with so many folks, and there's always some themes that come up again and again, and one of those themes is, you know, Sheila, it just seems like life is getting harder, you know, and if you feel that way, I can't speak for everyone, but what I can tell you is there is a harshness that and an isolation that has permeated our culture, and it hits some people at their very core. A mentality of, you know, I get mine, you get yours the best way you can. It's a dog eat dog world. And the negativity can hit you so hard that if you don't call in reinforcements, you can really erode under the weight of that pressure. I don't create these videos as conversational pieces. I don't talk about anything on these videos if I'm not prepared to share some insight or a solution. For myself, personally, I no longer pray for strength. I really don't, because it dawned on me the issues that I'm facing, the things that I'm juggling in life, what I want to do for the world. I am not strong enough to withstand the negativity that comes at me, that comes through at all of us. So I don't pray for strength. I pray for a spirit of surrender to receive the guidance and support that I need to do my work in an elevated manner, to stay level, kind, and loving in my relationships, and to focus. So what else am I surrendering to? I'm surrendering to protection, guidance, and wisdom of the Lord. And I try to remain in a completely surrendered state and not rely and live on my own strength. I have done that. I've done it more than once. Sometimes I'll still slip into that. And inevitably, things don't go. Things do not go that well. The answers and the support that we seek, it's available. We just have to slow down long enough to tap into it. I sat with a single father some time ago of 3 girls. He was 2 years into raising these 3 girls alone. He was widowed. His wife passed away tragically, and no one understood how he was moving and behaving after her passing. And it's not that he was failing in life. I mean, it's quite the opposite. He was actually thriving, taking care of his girls beautifully, working, ended up with 2 back-to-back promotions. And he told me, you know, people look in amazement, but I knew after my wife passed, it was devastating. There is no way that I could have managed that by myself. And I remember standing in the middle of my living room and saying out loud, help me, I cannot do this alone. And I completely, in that moment, just surrendered to the strength of the higher power. And shortly after that, I packed the girls up and just went on a trip. My guidance was take them on a beautiful trip. We went to Disney World, and there was a sadness during that trip, but there was also a great bonding and solidarity. We had the time of our lives, and that was really the start. The girls got the message and understood clearly we are a family. We're still going to laugh. We're still going to carry on. And he said on the plane right back, I just decided I was going to keep that momentum and keep that spirit going, and I have ever since. So people looked at him, some of them kind of worried, judgmental. Well, maybe he's in denial. Maybe he's not grieving this the right way. But the fact of the matter is, he had a strength that did not come from him. It was coming through him. And I have found for myself and so many other people who just let themselves stay in this surrendered state. You know, people will look and say, what's happening? What is going on? How are you doing this? The fact of the matter is, no one is doing it alone. You're doing it because you're in divine alignment. And when you're in divine alignment, the impossible is made possible. It's just like that little boy who was going across the monkey bars with his mom. Imagine that she's invisible and you see this kid barreling across these bars. It's the same kind of thing. It would look like a miracle. It would look like a miracle to you. Same concept with our lives. That is the miracle of life, that you're not in this alone. There is assistance. There is guidance. I get somewhat annoyed when people talk about miracles like they're so abstract, like a comet hitting someone's yard. They're not abstract. Miracles happen every day. We live on a highway of miracles, and all you have to do is access the power and the strength, jump on that highway, and watch things unfold for you. Worked with a woman in her late 30s, 38 to be precise. She was devastated. All she wanted since the time she was a little girl was to be married, have children. She hadn't met her partner and had fallen into a clinical depression. And I could relate to her because I'm one of these people, met my sweetheart later in life, and I think a lot of people don't understand how difficult that walk can be for a person. So they'll say things or do things that are dismissive to a person's pain of where they're at the moment. So I did not tell this woman, oh, you know, don't worry about it. You're a pretty girl. He's going to come along sometime. That's not really helpful. And nor did I tell her, just put on a pretty dress. You got to get out there some more. What I told her was this: I want you to really, really go into prayer and stop. Don't pray for the guy anymore. God heard you on that. But pray for the highest and the most divine attitude about the circumstance. Pray for that. Start praying for a divine attitude about the circumstance. And let me tell you something. 4 months later, 4 months later, she reached out to me in California. I was kind of astounded. What the heck? How did you get out there? And she said, Sheila, I've done a complete 180. And I said, well, did you meet someone? What's going on? She said, no, I didn't meet anyone, but it really has hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm not living. My spirit led me out here to California. I've got a great place. Very easy for me to land a great job with what I do. And I have to start living. That's what has just come into my spirit. And let me tell you something. This woman is 42 years old today. 42. And I just recently received word, met that guy, married, having a great life. My point in sharing, had she sat there in that depression, in that stupor, the Lord was trying to get her into a California program. That's where the action was. But she was sitting depressed in a cold state, snowy. It's necessary. It's necessary to connect with that lift. You have to connect with that energy, because then you start to fall into alignment. And let me say this. There two ways that prayers are answered. Sometimes we pray for that physical change in life, bring in this material gain, that physicality, but prayers are answered in two ways. Yes, sometimes the Lord will move circumstance in a physical manner, but sometimes he didn't bring the guy to her right away, but he moved. The second way is moving in your spirit and in your heart. Sheila, I feel differently about the whole thing now. I just changed how I feel about it. So there's two ways. You may not always get what you envision or what you're praying for right away, but if you start to feel differently about it from the inside out, is that not a change? Is that not the same thing? See, if I ask you where you live, don't tell me I live in California or I live in Illinois or I live in Nevada. No, you live in the state of your mind. You live in the state of your mind. I know people who live in sunny, beautiful California, which is a paradise by any standards, at least some parts of it. And because of their state of mind, they can't enjoy the water. They can't enjoy the beautiful trees. They can't enjoy the 75-degree weather. So you live not in a geographic state, but in your state of mind. And I want to say a few things about calling on your angels. The angels, your angels and your spiritual support system is as real as the bananas or apples that you shop for at the grocery store. But it is your belief, in your cord, that calls them in, the cord of connection. Anything that is on the right side of divinity is the perfect lady or the perfect gentleman. They wait for the invitation. Extend the invitation. On the other end, anything that is degradation, filled with degradation, evil, barges into your life, full of destruction. That's why when something is evil, there's so much destruction and hurt and chaos, because that side acts like thugs and criminals. So again, this energy, this guidance is available to you. It's a one-step process. There's not 3 steps or 2 steps. It's a one-step process to sit and say, you know what? Enough is enough. I am surrendered. I'm surrendered, Father. Your will be done. Your will be done. And take the instruction. Take the guidance, and prepare to be lifted and prepare to be amazed. I hope this message has been helpful for you. I'll see you next time.